Chapter 9. What is the purpose of the physical world? Now this chapter came to me. I wrote it after a deep meditation. I awoke and I felt inspired to write this question down, and then I wrote the entire chapter that you're about to hear, or that you maybe already have read. Now it's a very interesting point. What is the purpose of the physical world? It's a very spiritual angle that we're taking here concerning our own lives and what it's all about. Because if you kind of understand the concept that I'm trying to convey through this chapter, you realize it's true, your desires exist for a purpose. You have dreams for a purpose. It's not just to get something, but ultimately to awaken you to your own creative powers that reside within your own mind. Now this might be very deep stuff for you to grasp right at this instant, but eventually you're gonna get to a point you'll understand that this is really true. This is what's happening to humanity and to us individually concerning our own dreams. So it's a very fascinating concept to think about. Like all the other ones, you gotta think about it and contemplate what they actually can mean for you and your life. Some people, as they are studying all these ideas about their inner potential, might get completely lost. They wonder, so what's the point? If I have all these great powers within my own mind, if I can see and feel myself already in possession of what I want, what is the point of the physical world altogether? After all, the physical world can show us all sorts of limitations, and since we're dealing with time in this dimension, we also have to be patient. The purpose of the physical world will only become clear to us once we can see it as a sort of mirror. It's a place that reflects back to us the inner concepts of our individual minds, the race as a whole, and the universe itself. This whole physical life takes place for a divine reason. It's to awaken you, and so you become aware of your own inner potential. Once we awaken to our own power and consciously learn to exercise these faculties we possess, we learn to create. We learn to create our own circumstances, and as long as we remember how the change took place, namely by imagination, thought, and emotion, we discover and learn to understand deeper spiritual aspects of our own being. Awakening to the power of imagination is comparable to being asleep. In the dream world, we aren't always conscious of dreaming. Once you become aware that it's all a dream, you can control the entire dream and do whatever you want. There are no limits. I see this as symbolic. Just like in our waking lives, we start out completely ignorant of our own powers. We live in total darkness. Life itself gives us an opportunity to become consciously aware of the creative process and exercise it at will. You're probably familiar with the concept of reincarnation. To some, this entire idea is absurd. For others, it isn't. Whatever we may think about it, it doesn't really matter. It's just one of those ideas that goes way beyond our normal perceptions of life. Since a lot of stuff in life goes beyond our conscious awareness, I came to realize that real happiness and fulfillment is not to be found just in the physical side of life. Since the physical results reflect back to us inner concepts of the mind, true happiness then comes from within. It comes once we discover this inner world of imagination, thought, and emotions. After carefully observing these aspects within ourselves, we learn to consciously express certain elements of our dreams on earth. This all happens with and through the body. It also explains why the body throughout the ages was called a temple of the living God. As a human being, we can connect our consciousness to a much greater consciousness that exists throughout the universe. This universal mind is responsible for bringing us the inspiration we need in order to create stuff on earth. Anything that was ever invented on earth already existed from the very moment the universe came into being. It simply took an individual or a group of people to become aware of certain concepts so that they could create it on earth. The goal of the physical world is to challenge us to overcome the obstacles we face, to become aware and learn how to exercise our inner potential. It is through this process we learn to consciously work with the spiritual capacities within us, and we learn to grasp the oneness of the universe we're a part of. Only when humanity can see this connection within their own lives will they discover how to overcome all obstacles they might face, and then, as they learn to do so, true happiness rises from within, a form of happiness not dependent on any physical circumstances. We all start out under some extreme hypnotic spell. We observe the physical world and think it's the only place that exists. Then, after many setbacks, as well as positive experiences, we start to develop a desire to know the truth of our own being. Maybe you don't have this desire at the moment. Maybe the physical world is still the only thing you truly believe in. And even so, sooner or later you'll be confronted with a desire to know the spiritual essence of life. This too connects with an idea shared throughout the ages. A hunger, a thirst shall come upon an individual. No normal food or drinks can satisfy these desires. It is a desire to know the truth of our own existence itself. The purpose for your existence right now is for a divine reason, but it might still be hard for you to accept it due to a lack of experience in working with this inner world of yours. Don't worry about it. This all naturally occurs and develops once you are ready. My advice concerning how we can get what we want is beneficial to developing these deeper desires. In the end, you can get whatever you want, but sooner or later you'll realize that it isn't so much the thing itself that brings fulfillment, but you becoming aware of how the creative process works. It is through all of your life experiences you'll start to learn to work with your own spiritual capacities, causing your entire life to take on a greater meaning. One of spiritual growth, making the physical world absolutely essential in order to measure whether we truly understand how to apply our powers to cause creation or not. If we truly understand it, our dreams will become a reality. They will become visible to our senses, and we can start to share it with other people. The physical and non-physical worlds are both important in order to develop ultimate insights concerning our own potential. It's because of this physical world we are inspired to look for the non-physical world. It's through the non-physical world we're put into a position from which we can change the physical world and create new things and results. This is the process that creates a bigger conscious awareness of a much greater spirit that exists throughout the universe, a spirit that's always busy with creating new stuff. So you see here, the reason why you have dreams, as I said, is literally for a divine reason. You might not agree on that, you might not see it as a divine thing, but really, if you keep achieving your dreams, you keep discovering more and more potentialities that lie dormant within yourself. You become more and more aware of your own powers. You realize your consciousness is literally a creative power of the universe that was given by the universe to you in order to create your own circumstances and manifest whatever you desire. This is a huge idea. This is something you really have to grasp and accept, because you are one of those special people like everybody else. You are one of those special creations made by the universe that can now express their own creativity on Earth. And that's what we're called upon to do. And that is the purpose of the physical world, for us to realize and understand what we're creating, and then discovering that we can also change and create new stuff by the power of our own minds.